Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is the third episode to answer this question. How do product managers know what to do next? In the last two episodes, I shared the short answer to this question. First, we need to gather and analyze user requirement. Second, we need to transfer those user requirements we gathered to product requirements. And third, we need to align those requirements with business goals. In the first episode, I shared more details about how we can gather and analyze user requirement, and in the second episode, I shared more details about how we can transfer user requirements into product requirements. In case you missed them, I'm going to add links on the screen here. In this episode, I'm going to share more details about how you can align those requirements with your business goals. Let's get started. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are new to my channel, I'm currently a PM at Microsoft and I have been working here for 6 years. I update my PM learnings and experiences every week on this channel, so subscribe if you don't want to miss my future videos. Back to the topic, aligning the requirements with the business goals. I'm going to divide the video into 4 parts. First, let's talk about why this is very important. Second, I'm going to share a concrete example of what we do at Microsoft. And third, I'm going to share some common practices and steps that you can follow to align your user requirement or product requirement with your business goals. And first, I'm going to share some details about how you can train this skill if you are still new to the PM role. Let's first talk about why this is important. As PMs, we receive requirements from various kind of channels. We gather and analyze user requirements, and sometimes we receive the requirements from our partner team, and sometimes we receive the requirement from developer team for infra change as well. However, resource is limited. Developer resource is limited, designer resource is limited, time is limited. That's why prioritization is very important. In my opinion, one of the most valuable PM's contribution to the team is to help the team make smart choices and make the right decisions and prioritize the items that really matters to the team to help the team succeed. But how to do this? The answer is we combine the user requirement with the product business goals. Of course, we need to consider those requirements and inputs we received from various kind of channels, but that doesn't necessarily mean we need to build those features in the next 6 months, right? When we build a product roadmap for the next 6 months, it's really important to think about what's the product vision for the next 6 months and really prioritize the one that matters to the team. And a good product roadmap should also align with the company goal and the company mission and vision statement. I hope you've got the importance part of it. Now let me share a concrete example of what we do at Microsoft. Most orgs in Microsoft, we follow a 6-month semester planning practice. In every April and October, we plan things ahead of time for the next 6 months. Of course, things may change in the middle of the 6 months, but usually the big rocks or the big goals stay the same. At the beginning of the planning cycle, every team will list all their requirements and the features that they want to do in the next 6 months. At the same time, besides of this feature list, they're also going to list 3 to 4 big rocks or big business goals, or some team uses objective key result approach. They're going to list the 3 to 4 key results to deliver in the next 6 months. After we have the list of requirements as well as the key result or business goals we want to deliver for the next 6 months, next what we are going to do is we will map those requirements into these 3 to 4 categories. Of course, some features you may be able to map them successfully, but some features they just don't belong to these 3 to 4 business goals. In that case, it's pretty simple. We just assign priority to those requirements. Next is PMs and engineers will sit together in a long meeting and discuss the priority for those features and requirements we listed together. We usually will use priority 0, priority 1, priority 2 to mean the importance of those features. And in each priority level, let's say priority 0, we also have a so-called stack rank to indicate the importance between those items that belong to the same priority level. After prioritizing all those requirements, next is to count how many developers we have in the team. We need to deduct the on-call duties. We need to deduct the potential public holiday vacations and the paid vacations. And based on this, we can calculate how many dev weeks we have for the next 6 months. And now with the prioritized feature requirements, as well as the number of resources we have, it's very easy to put a cut line in the middle to indicate which features we can commit in the next 6 months and which features we need to cut in the next 6 months. One of the other important things we need to do before we can review this list with our leadership team is to review the cut line again very carefully, especially the items right above the cut line together with the ones that right below the cut line. We need to prepare the reasons why we cut those items and why we think we need to do those items above the cut line. And this is basically a question that definitely will be asked in the review with the leadership team. And in fact, this is the most challenging part of each planning cycle. I hope you get an overview of how this works from this Microsoft example. Now let's talk about this in general. Let me share some common steps that you can follow to align the user requirements with the product business goals. First, and the most important thing is to understand what is the business goals. Business goals are usually from top down. Each company will have its mission and vision statement, and then each org in the company also have org strategy and org vision, and every product also has its own product strategy, product vision, and business goals. So it is really a top-down process. But in terms of the achievement, it is really a bottom-up process. So every product needs to make sure it meets its business goals, so the org can meet its business goals, so the company can achieve its mission and vision statement. So when you try to understand those business goals, you need to make sure you understand the goals at different levels as well. You should not only understand the product goals, as well as you need to see how it aligns with the org's strategy and how the org strategy is aligned with the company's strategy. One thing to note here is the difference between financial goals and business goals. Financial goals usually defines how much money the company and the product would like to earn, or how much revenue the company or the product would like to get in the next fiscal year. But the business goals really defines how we can achieve those financial goals. So for example, if the financial goal is something like we need to double our revenue in the next fiscal year, then the business goals can be something like we need to double the subscriber count so we can achieve that financial goal. Or it can be something like we need to make sure to increase our user base by 10 times so we can increase the subscriber count and we can achieve that financial goal. After understanding the vision and business goals at all levels, both product, org, as well as company, the next thing is to understand the product roadmap or product business goal in the next 6 months, 1 year, and 2 years. And this basically defines what is a successful product. A useful statement here that can guide you through this step is something like, we know we will be successful when. It can be something like, we know we will be successful when we can grow the user base by 5 times. Or it can be something like, we know we will be successful when we can be a profitable service. It also can be something like, we know we will be successful if we can be the first time to market service provider. So those kind of statements define what is a successful product, and it really can provide both you and your team a good view of what the product business goal is for the next 6 months, 1 year, and 2 years. The third step here is to identify some big rocks for the next 6 months. Since you've known the product goal and strategy for the next 6 months, 1 year, and 2 years, the important thing here is to make sure when you make the plan for the next 6 months, you align that with the product long-term strategy. Usually 3 to 5 big rocks to the team in the next 6 months are enough. You don't want to over-complex this, and you also don't want to add too many unnecessary details to those big rocks. You want to make it straightforward, clear, and easy to follow for the team to make all the decisions. After identifying these 3 to 5 big rocks, the next step is to prioritize items based on those big rocks. Just like what I shared in that Microsoft example, you have a list of requirements and you have a list of 3 to 5 big rocks. You map those requirements to those big rocks, and accordingly you can assign the priorities to these items. And based on the resource you have as the team, you should be able to draw a cut line in the middle and say what requirements you can commit to and what requirements you have to cut. The last step is not a necessary one, but it is a very good one. It is to validate your features or shining roadmaps with a PR FAQ document. A PR FAQ document is an imagined press release that includes the feature you are going to ship after 6 months, and you will include the user comments, user feedback, and just imagine how the feature is valuable to your users and customers. And it followed by a FAQ part. It basically describes the potential questions you may receive from your users and what's your answer to them. The PR FAQ document is really a powerful tool. It helps you to validate your vision of the product once more. At the same time, it will paint a clear big picture to the team members and share a view of how the product will look like in the next 6 months. These are common steps that you can follow to align the requirements with the product business goals. You may ask, it seems including a lot of decision making and business strategy making in between. If I'm still a bit new to the PM role, how can I gain my skill set of doing this? I can share a few tips with you. The first one is try to ask yourself questions in your daily work. For example, you can try to ask yourself questions like, why we are doing what we are doing. Why this feature, not that feature. Basically understand the difference between the priority. And something like, what is the success definition of the project or the feature that I'm working on? You can use this statement of, I know I will be successful, or I know I will build a successful product when. And other questions like, does the feature I'm working on or the project I'm working on align with the product strategy? Does it align with the org strategy? Does it align with the company strategy? And in what way it aligns with those strategies? And also questions like how your work contributes to the overall product success. You need to understand the importance of the part that you are working on, as well as how it contributes to the final business goal. All those questions will help you build a goodwill and sense of product business goals, and as well as how your daily work can be aligned with those product business goals. The second tip here is to ask those questions to your manager. Now you've asked those questions to yourself. Sometimes you may get the right answer and sometimes you may not. By asking those questions to your manager, you will get his point of view on product strategy and business goals. And at the same time, you can make sure you are on the same page for those product goals and you are on the same page for your contribution to the team. The third tip here is to try to watch and participate in product reviews. I mean the reviews with your leadership team. If you are still a junior PM in the team, you may not always get the chance to participate or join the meetings with your leadership team live, but I suppose you can always get the materials or the slides that are used in those business reviews. And by looking at those slides and materials and understand how your manager tells a story to their leadership team about your product, you should be able to build a good sense of product business goals as well as product business view. Next is to watch executive presentations. Those executive presentations really tell a good story and really align the product and the feature the company builds with the company's mission and vision statement. By watching those presentations, you will get a good view of how the company leadership thinks about the mission statement of the company or the org strategy or the product strategy. And you will also get a lot of good concrete examples about what features or what projects really align well with the company strategy or the product strategy goal. The last tip is to tell stories to yourself. Of course, not every PM will get chances to make business decisions, make business strategies, and present the product to the leadership team. But every PM can practice and try to build our own stories of product vision and tell the stories to ourselves to train our muscle. This is one of the lessons I learned from my first mentor after I joined Microsoft. He told me that he used to do this kind of practices where he imagined himself at his manager's position, and if he were his manager, which kind of decisions he would make or which kind of business strategy for the product he would develop for the team. Personally, I found this practice very helpful. it is fake. So for sure, you won't get 100% of management will from this practice, but it definitely helps you build a better will of the product business strategy and product business goal. And it also trains your muscle to make you be prepared for future potential career growth opportunities. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the content. If you like my contents, please give me a thumb up. And if you have any question or feedback for me, feel free to leave a comment below so I can try to address them in my future videos. Recently, I received some questions about how to build product sense or how to train the product sense, and I plan to make several videos about that next. Subscribe and stay tuned. See you next time. Bye.